What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bates III, and today is a very special day because we are here with our good friend Joe Felz, and Joe and I are not only going to be podcasting, but we're going to be drinking beer while doing it. What's up, Joe?
Here, here. Give me a beer.
There you go. What did you say you're drinking over there? American water?
This is American water, also known as Miller Lite.
There you go.
Son of an immigrant invented the best. Like, really, people talk shit. This is the best Pilsner out there. You can drink this all day.
It is.
It's great beer.
I'm not gonna lie. When I'm at hockey tournaments and stuff, that's what I drink. But tonight we're rocking the Einstück, my Viking beard. It's got to match the beard, you know. So
I'll like you wouldn't catch me turning down a Viking beer of any kind ever.
Bro, it's tasty. You
Any
like
Viking.
it. So man, for the people that don't know who you are, and I know you got a lot to tell today. Tell us what it is that you do in real estate and how'd you get started?
So currently, as it pertains to real estate, I have a real estate brokerage that I co-own a real estate brokerage, a wholesaling and acquisitions company, and a little hedge fund here in Augusta.
There you go.
Then personally, just Joe Felz, I own Creative Construction Solutions, licensed builder and electrician, a full construction company in Augusta, pretty good reputation. I also have my own portfolio of 65-ish properties, rental properties. There's a couple flips in there, a couple bare lots, buy and hold stuff, but few Airbnbs, Georgia, Tennessee, Washington State. I closed my South Carolina branch after me and the HOA in Beaufort didn't get along. Pretty much if you're in Augusta, Georgia, if you want to buy a house on market, sell a house on market, lease a house, if you want to rent a house, if you want to get one off market, sell one off market, renovate one, fix one, you got busted by the, if you have a house in Augusta, Georgia, there's really nothing I can't do to help you.
There you go. So how'd you get started? How'd you get into real estate? Because I know you got a hell of a story, so let's get into it.
Man, I bought a house. I was fresh out of prison and living in my mama's basement. And I literally asked her, going off of a adage of Marvin Pierman, if you ain't got your money for it, you don't need it. I said, Mama, Dad, let me live here until I can buy a house. And that's kind of a bold statement. I didn't have a driver's license. I was an 8-time convicted felon out on parole. I'd spent, 2 years before I went to prison as a fugitive. I ran away and I was gone. They didn't know if I was alive or dead. And then I was in prison, and now I'm in their house in my mama's basement on Sandy Run Court, telling them, hey, let me live here till I can buy a house. And you're probably thinking like a nice house, like a house. Right. I was talking about buying like a house-like product. A some assembly required. And I did, man. The first house I bought was on Old Louisville Road, right up from the jail in Augusta, man. And it was listed for $19,000. It became a bidding war, and I shot for the fences, dog. 19.9. Cash money. No $20,000 loan here, baby. Right. And I got it, man. I got it. It's currently worth about $165, and it's rented for $1,250.
Wow, great deals. Hey,
first house I ever bought.
Listen, Georgia is one of my favorite markets, and we've done quite a few deals in the Augusta market, so I know those kind of numbers exist out there quite a bit. What about? So you're an 8-time convicted felon. You're living in your mom's basement. You said, "Hey, let me live here until I can buy a house." What led you to real estate? Why was that the thing?
Well, so I wasn't per se looking for real estate, but that segued me into buying the house.
Gotcha.
I knew I wanted to buy the house because I didn't want to live in my parents' basement.
Right.
I was fresh out the chain gang. I was trying to, get somewhere, dog.
Right.
And I just knew I needed a house. The real estate portion came from, I had started my own little business, and I was doing all this contract work for Estroff Properties, who had between 2 and 250 Section 8 rentals. And so really the seed was planted there. You know, I tell people all the time, you will learn best through osmosis. Take your ass somewhere and your brain will follow. And I was with people who were actively making money in real estate. And so I laid down with dogs and caught fleas, basically. It jumped on my mind, and, you know, it was planted. And once I went with it, you know, I bought this house, and I wasn't thinking turn it into a rental. I was thinking don't pay to live, right? That's all I was thinking, freedom. Well, once I bought it, when I was remodeling it, I saw this other house right up the road, and it was a big 2-car garage. I mean, acre lot, 2-car garage, dude. And it was wrecked. It was fuckola, dog. It was in bad shape, and it was just perfect for me. You know, they had to sell it real bad. I wound up buying it for $13,000.
Oh,
literally, I got into real estate because a house had a bigger yard.
there you go.
I mean, hey, a blind hog find an acorn every now and again, dog. What you want to say?
So you bought that one for 13 because they had a bigger yard. So now you're moving out of the $20,000 house.
No, I actually never lived there. I had it almost all the way done. Like, and I came back, and I remember my girlfriend at the time, later to be wife, now ex-wife, she had to move out of her house. Her lease was up, and I had bought this house. We literally came back from a family beach trip and got all of her stuff and moved it into this house. It was wrecked. There was a hole in the floor where the termites had eaten up through the hardwoods, like that bad. There was a possum nest under the sink. Like it had leaked and rotted out. Dude, this thing was wrecked, but the air conditioner worked. I wasn't a heat and air guy. I didn't know. I didn't have the AC going in the other one, and it worked here. And so we just brought a mattress, put it on the floor, man. And I came in here, and I literally, dude, I fixed this house up. The first thing I learned is the sewer line was bad. After I spent 6 days gutting the bathroom to the dirt and putting it back, the toilet flushed for a day and a half. Then I had to replace the sewer line. And, you know, I was living in this house, and I had another house. And so what do you do if you have an empty house? You do something with it, dog. You don't just let it sit. So I rented it. And that was the beginning of an empire.
I love it. I love it, man. And, you know, I talked to you before, you know, the podcast, and I was saying, hey, man, similar start where, you know, we were contractors, and then we started getting hired by investors. Mm-hmm. And it was the same thing. It was like, hold on, I'm on the wrong side of this game. Mm-hmm. I'm doing all this work, and he's making all the money. Like, what am I doing this for? I need to go buy the houses and then still do the work. So it sounds like we had similar paths there at the beginning, where from the contractor side of things. So when you were doing that work, is that kind of like what spurred you to keeping them as rentals, or were you immediately thinking like, man, I should flip these and make big paydays?
Well, no, I didn't flip. Like, I did not flip a house as far as like buy to sell.
Right.
I had 10 or 12 paid for rentals before I flipped my first house.
That's crazy. Joe, I mean, like, quite honestly, I don't know if you understand like how rare that is.
Well, here's the thing, dog. I really did. And what most people don't comprehend is that I grew up without a TV. I was born in Papua New Guinea. My parents were missionaries. I was in a church. We had a prayer hike every morning, every night. I didn't have a TV. I was kicked out of UGA my second semester for selling dope. Give me a little taste of freedom. I'm right back home. I was gone, man. I was a fugitive in the streets for 2 years, then in prison. And I literally got out and started working, going to Alcoholics Anonymous and running trails. And that was all I did for a decade. That was it. And so I've never really stopped to look at anything. If you see how I live now, bro, I'm not looking at shit now. I'm just going and doing. I never stopped to really consider. And I lived in a cave my whole life. It was just me and the people I surrounded myself with, which were all of my choosing and all of my training. You should see the guys that work for me. They're fucking sharp. Right. And my family is just so gangster, dude. Like, I didn't know it, because if you're born in a dark closet, that's all you know. But I was always the black sheep and the fuck up of my family. I mean, look at my story. I've been in 3 psychiatric lockups. And so I've been, my whole life, I've never felt like I accomplished anything at all. I mean, until maybe a year and a half ago. I've won 40 and 50 mile foot races and bought and sold 100 houses without the use of a mortgage. And, I've never really considered it an accomplishment because you can do all you fucking want to. And all it leads to is more longing for the next accomplishment, dog. It's all smoke and mirrors.
So I got to ask you about that because, like, I just became aware of you. And, like, the background story of this is a couple of years ago, I went and I grabbed a 19-year-old at a local real estate meetup. And I said, why are you here? And he said, I want to learn how to do real estate. I don't really know what this wholesaling thing is, but I think it sounds like something I want to do. And I said, well, you can either come work for me or you're a little punk ass bitch and you really don't want to learn how to do this. And he came in and he worked for me. So here we are 3 years later. He comes in my office the other night and he said, hey, do you know who Joe Felz is? I said, I don't. And he said, dude, you need to get him on your podcast. So I messaged you that night and I said, hey, man, you want to drink some beers and shoot the shit? And you said, you had me to drinking beers and shooting shit. So,
what the podcast?
Right. Well, here we are, right? And I share that because I didn't do a whole lot of background on you, but I watched your social media. We talked on the phone the other day. You seem like a really well-spoken. I mean, you're a character, but
yeah.
But you're really well-spoken. You seem like you're like super intelligent. So when you're talking about 3 times in psychiatric wards, 8-time felon, like what was going on in your life that caused you to go through those issues?
Okay. And that's the thing, man. I live my life and always have by a different motivation system than almost any other human I've ever met. That's why, man, that's why I break algorithms is you put me in, all you see on the internet is my daily life.
Right.
Hell, they thought Albert Einstein was retarded for years.
Yeah, they did.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying I'm him at all, but what I'm saying is my brain, the things that are coming into my eyes are the same shit that's coming into your eyes. But once that's where it stops, man. Like, and when I was a kid, man, I think I was a junior or senior in high school, man. And I was on the wrestling team, dude. I wrestled 119 pounds and I was good at it. I do anything to make weight. Run in a sauna in a trash bag in front of little Asian ladies at the Y. Dude, hey, go make myself rich after Thanksgiving dinner, anything. And it was around that time I started waking up in the middle of the night, man, at like 2 or 3 in the morning, just boom, ready to go. And I'd go run. I'd go run around the neighborhood right there on Sandy Run Court, all around Montclair. And one night my dad had like a premonition. He'd always wake up and check on us. I'm a father now. If you got kids, you do it all the time. And he went down there just to look at, and I was gone. Now, back then I was like, Dad, I just went on a run. Now you got to think this is in like 2002, 2003, cell phones. I'm just gone. I freaked out. And after I came back, they're like, what happened? I was like, oh, what? I woke up too and went for a run. They're like, wow. Okay. Between that and the sweat bags and the won't eat and the vomiting, we just need to get this kid looked at. And, I've been in a number of times and they've put me on medication. Dog, ain't nothing wrong with me.
Right. You're
and
just a driven person. I mean, you wanted to succeed at what you were doing. I mean, yeah. we were talking about it the other night. You're like, bro, I don't even know what I'm doing with this social media stuff, but it's working.
Dude, yeah, I don't. Every single video you see on the internet has been recorded, edited, posted by me. I've hashtagged every single one myself. Hold on. Remember all that other shit I said I own?
Yeah.
Like I do that. And I also do this all at the same time, man. And that's just how I am. I competed and trained and ran all these ultra marathons. I've won some 40 and 50 milers. I'm up at 6:30 in the morning. I do not live a cushy lifestyle. To quote Matt Brown, the UFC fighter, I live my life in misery. Like Like I take that, most people would never know it by looking at me, but I'm a huge fan and follower of Jesus. Like I just understand him differently than y'all do. And that man literally told me two things: take up your cross, your instrument of torture daily, and follow me. And I happen to be an itinerant carpenter who lives in a van going around doing nice things for people. I don't know. I'm just trying to follow this dude. And another thing he told me is if you don't a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. And like, so I live by these things, man, and you can tell. And it's led to a lot of success in real estate, man. But if you apply these principles to pretty much anything, you'll be successful. Look at social media.
I love that, man. I mean, let me ask you this, because you started buying houses, like you bought those first couple, what I call shit boxes, right? 19,000, 13,000, and now they're worth something, right? But did you ever educate yourself on what you were doing with real estate, or was it always just like, hey, buy cheap and fix it up? It's worth more.
All right, so that's the thing, man. Like when you say educate yourself, I have never listened to a podcast of any kind. The second podcast I've ever interacted with, we recorded the other one last week. I've never read a book on investing. The only self-help book I've ever used is a calculator. I mean, it's pretty basic. My rule of thumb all these years has just been redneck real estate, dog. Gross numbers. I'm not, you can run all your vacancy, blah, blah. Look, if I can get 2% gross return a month, I'll buy it. If I can buy this house for 20 and put 20 in it and have 40 in it and rent it for 800, it's a go.
There you go. There you go.
Now you can factor in all that vacancy and if them numbers hit, you good, dog.
There you go. And I agree with that. I mean, because there is this, like, in the nicer neighborhoods, people talking about 1% rentals. They don't cash flow. They don't cash flow worth shit. It doesn't work. 2% is where you've got to be minimally in most neighborhoods, and I agree with that. Now, let's talk about, finding properties, because, dude, I educate. At this point, I have literally educated thousands of people on how to do real estate, and they struggle with figuring out, how do I find motivated sellers? How do I talk to them? What paperwork do I use? Like, how do you figure all this shit out?
Well, buying houses.
How did you find the houses to buy?
Okay, the best leads I've ever gotten are organic. That's a no-brainer.
Right.
I'm going to start out by saying deals beget deals. The more deals you do, the more deals that find your way into your lap. And, just that's how I got the majority of them. I've only bought maybe 7 or 8 houses off the market my entire life. I don't buy on market. I marketed, I started, doing wholesaling. I was marketing direct to seller, just myself, sending mailers, cold calling, driving for dollars. I was getting my feet wet. I see a house over here, write down the address, go put a little note on the door. Hey, I was a young, hungry kid fucking hustling. Right. That's what I was. And that's the thing, man. I've always done what I thought was my job. But what it really was a lot of times was the training for my next job. Like, yeah, I was out there hustling. I was learning what didn't work. And I was learning how the system worked, how you found data and how you track down people. And, that, oh, God, that's a shelf corporation. I wonder who I talked to at the shelf corporation. Hey, you learn to weed out entities pretty quick. Yep. You chase your tail long enough. It's like watching the Animal Planet, dude. You see the little bears trying to catch them at the river. That's what I was doing, man.
I love it. I love it, man. And listen, you are a testament for, instead of analysis paralysis, sitting down, reading the books, listening to podcasts, and all this bullshit, you just went out there and started taking action. And next thing you know, you're like, dude, I'm a millionaire. Like, I own all these properties. I had 2% rentals all over the place in Augusta, Georgia. I mean, you're talking about your own shit in Washington State. I got to ask you about that later. I don't even understand why.
Oh, hey, you're going to come there, ain't you?
Hey, I'll do it if you invite me.
RJ, we can drink beer on my porch and look at the Olympic Mountains, and there's your choice of legal shops everywhere. We can go to the beach in 9 minutes from my house or the Olympic National Park in 15. My neighbor Gary grew up in Alaska building pipelines. Just sit here and talk to Gary, man. Come to the Sea Shack.
I love it. So you're one of the things that Justin said, dude, you got to talk to this guy. He bought like a van or a school bus or both or something like this. And it's like what you live in or what you're working out of or some shit. So what's the story? What's going on? What you got, a van or a school bus?
So, well, I live in El Suave, which is a 1999 Dodge wide body Explorer. I like my vans like I like my hips, wide body. Look at Alex. Sorry, we were flagged for hate speech. They do that all the time. Literally, man, in May of 22, I was about at the breaking point, man. You know, I'd been sober for 12 years. I sponsored people. I was married. I had 2 kids. I'd done everything that society told me to be happy, and I was absolutely miserable. I did this shit at a high level, a really high level. And, you know, I was miserable, man. And so I was getting divorced. I pretty much left my company to Brandon and the guys and said, here, guys, here's a full-fledged construction company. Do what you want to with it. I was done, literally done. And I bought El Suave. I spent some months fixing it up, putting solar on it. And I bought this house out on the West Coast. And I said, fuck it, I'm gone. I'm gone, dude. I cried my eyes out, dude. I'll cry talking about it, man. Fuck it, man. I literally said fuck it and left in that van and drove across the country looking for the soul of America, man. I've done everything y'all told me to. I beat you at it, and I'm fucking miserable. I'm screaming without a mouth. And so that's what I did, man. I did that, and I drove across the country, man. Met Alex along the way on Tinder, who had a school bus. Interesting how this all works. It was literally on this trip when I got social media. That's literally when it started. I didn't have any social media for 7 years.
Right.
And so it just started there, man. And so I live in the van, dude. I drove all the way. I've driven the whole country coast to coast 4 times. I have an off-grid generator in there. It pushes 240 volts. It's a 6 kilowatt inverter. You know, I backfeed your house, man. You know, it's pretty cool. Full kitchen, full bath, water heater, propane heater, AC heat, you know, little table. Well, anything you want, man. You got mobile internet in there, Starlink. What else do you need?
I love it. So, but going back to like what caused you to do this, you said you were miserable.
Oh,
why were you miserable?
You ever read the book Song of Solomon?
Well, parts of it, not the whole thing.
So, reportedly the wisest man to ever walk this earth.
Right.
So, and to summarize it, vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity and grasping at the wind. Dude, this is if I could tell y'all any fucking thing and you heard nothing else tonight, hear this. In the last 20 years, I have been from the lowest dregs of society to the highest peaks and pinnacles. And it's all fucking smoke and goddamn mirrors, every bit of it. Like, that's the thing. Guys, making $1 million. Like, look, you're seeing the millionaire down. I don't give a fuck. Just give me the van. Fuck the van. Just give me the river. Just give me the fucking river. I'm so thrilled to have a van. You know why, guys? If you cannot learn to be happy with less, you'll never be fucking happy. You only own one thing in your entire life. One. It's your body. I don't own this badass jacket. I'm just using it while I'm here. And I'm going to die, and it's going to be somebody else's. The only thing I own is my body. I was born with it, and I'll die with it. Most people never realize that. They don't give a fuck about their body. Yeah. You slap God in the face. Like, what I'm trying to tell you is my brain works different, man. And I was here, and I've tried everything. I've been in 3 psychiatric lockups, in the inside of 5 jails, 3 prisons. I've lived in my mama's basement. I've been sober in AA. I've chaired meetings in the same mental hospital I was locked up in. I chaired meetings there for 4 years. Motherfucker, I've won ultra marathons. I've had $1 million in the bank. I've wrapped up in a bed of insulation to keep from freezing at night. I've held onto the pylon of a dock while the police walked on top of it looking for me, naked, in the water. And no matter where I am, I have the same two fears, that I will either fail to gain something that I want or that I will lose something that I have that I do not want to give up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can take all the money away, bro. This is it. And when you figure that out, man, your life is just different. Like, why am I working like this? Why? Why am I doing this? Why? And man, like, I ran away when I was 19. I'd spent years alone with an active mind, reading the Bible and history, which has a tendency of repeating itself. And then running up mountains, listening to shit like the Unabomber Manifesto. Like, what does that do to a human psyche?
Right. Man, I have to tell you, your story is inspirational on so many different levels, from the mindset of like tangible things, like you're talking about your jacket and the van, the $1 million, like that doesn't really matter, but yet you're still driven to go out and be successful.
Yeah.
So what drives you? Because it seems like commercial things are not important to you. So what drives you to be successful in both real estate and social media? Because you're killing it. You just passed 50,000 followers a day on Instagram. Congratulations, by the way.
Look, thank you, man. And I'll be honest, dude, I'm much happier in the woods with no cell service and a bag of shrooms and no clothes. But, and God lets me do that, man, but I'm here for a reason, dude. Hey, man, you can't hold lightning in a bottle, cuz.
Right.
You can't do it. And like, that's why I'm here, man. I'm a made man. I could be sitting anywhere doing anything, but I'm working 15 hours a day, busting my ass. Why? What a question for somebody. Until I couldn't tell you how much money I made a calendar year in my life. And very few people know this, but except for one small period where I had to because of some tax election, I have never drawn a salary of any kind out of any company I've ever owned, except $249 a week for a brief period from creative construction. I live like a pauper, largely without money. I don't eat meat. I rarely take hot showers. I don't use an air conditioner. Like, why am I doing this, man? And literally, I got on social media for one reason, man, and one reason only, that if I could do all these things and show people that I can invest money and I can fix houses, I can build soul, I can van life, dude, I can run up a fucking mountain. I'll grab a snake. I'm fearless. They'll respect me. And if they'll respect me, they'll listen to what I have to say. And all I have to say is this, guys. America, you need to make your houses smaller and more efficient and be happy with less because you're fucking the planet. That's why I'm fucking here. Okay. And whatever I got to do, dog, as long as you're hearing them words, that's all I care about. And you hear them to heart and you see the intensity on my face when I say them. And know that, yeah, fuck the money, man. That's why I'm here. And finally, God's let me get to a place where I'm somewhere that might be somewhere where a lot of people will fucking see it. And my God, look at my fucking eyes. America, make your houses smaller and more efficient and be happy with less because you're fucking the planet. That's it.
It's facts. Let me ask you a question. I saw on your social media the other day, someone commented on there about, well, Joe, the reason why you do this is because you have money. The reason why you can invest in real estate is because you had the money. I don't have the money. Now, I saw your response, so that's why I'm asking, where you were like, hey, you have no idea where I came from. So talk to the people right now that are listening to this and say, I want to be just like Joe. I want to make a difference for people. I want to make a good living. I want to take care of my family. I don't want to live beyond my means, but I just want to make a living, and I want to do real estate. How can they follow and gain inspiration from you? What do you say to those people?
Step one, if anybody is trying to get into real estate on any level, this is step 0. You need to find a group of people who are actively making money in the market in which you're located and put your shoulder next to them. Fuck a self-help book. I've never read Bigger Pockets and I got them. Okay, this is what I'm here to tell you. Just find some people who are doing the deal. Don't believe the hype. That's what I'm saying, man. I've never read a book of any kind. Look at me. I'm a 5'4" redneck, 8 times. If I can do it, you can do it. Just trust me. Most people just don't do it because they're scared. They're scared of failure, man. They have no cojones, you know, and yeah, put your shoulder next to somebody. And the other thing is you have to audit yourself. Like some people saying, I want to get into real estate is like me saying, I want to get in the NBA. All right. Hey, dude. At one point, I tried out for the midget porn industry, and they told me I was too tall and too short at the same time. You know, what do you want me to say? Some people ain't gonna cut the mustard, dog. And
hey, I appreciate you saying that because listen, I've had a lot of people on here, and it's like they're trying to sell some sort of education, right? So they're like, anybody can do this, right? Sign up here, you know, give me money and I can teach you. And I've openly said it. Hey, man, talking to sellers ain't for everybody. Learning doing marketing and everything like that, running numbers, construction, it ain't for everybody, you know? So I agree with you that real estate investing is not necessarily meant for every single person out there just because, hey, you saw a show or you saw Joe Felz on Instagram and you're like, dude, he looks like he's living a great life. I want to try to replicate it. Doesn't mean you got to do the exact same thing. Now, I got to ask you about your jacket.
Let me tell you one thing real quick. I liken real estate to the fight game so much because it's very similar. Hey, guys, you see these guys on TV and you're like, oh, I can do what they do. Dude, you don't even move like them. You don't think like them. You have no idea what these guys do. In fact, you're so ignorant that you don't even know what you don't know. And if you stepped in that ring, the consequences would be quick and lethal. And like, yes, and what they don't see is the time and effort. And Bruce Lee nailed it. If you want to be good at something, do it 10,000 times.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, dude, yeah, I'll post it tomorrow. I'm going to post something tomorrow. You know, this lifestyle, what I do, real estate, van life, ultra running, asceticism, minimalism, these lifestyles are not for people who want it or who need it. It is only reserved for people who do it. And if you want to get in real estate, really, you have to buy a house. And it is incumbent on you to figure out what it looks like to get from A to B based off of honest self-appraisal and objective thinking.
Yep.
So
there you go. All right, so this jacket. You wear the jacket all the time. And I was going to ask you a NASCAR question, and I mentioned this before. You say you've never watched NASCAR?
I have never watched a NASCAR race in my life.
So why the hell do you wear a Dale Earnhardt Jr. jacket every single day?
This is fashionable as hell.
Who is this?
That's Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
It's fashionable. I was hoping that since you said redneck real estate, that we were going to be able to talk NASCAR. But you don't like NASCAR?
Now, I love racing, but the old-fashioned kind, Shanks Mare. I used to run an ultra marathon every other month. I ran 50 miles a week. I love racing, but I feel you should do it the old-fashioned way. I'm not a big fan of fossil fuels and, you know, shit like that. And I love nature. But, I mean, I don't even like Budweiser. I just think this jacket's badass. I bought it off of some...
You showed up and drinking Miller Lite and wearing a Budweiser jacket.
Yeah. I mean, but let's be honest, RJ. I bought this off of some dude fixing his moped on the side of Highway 56. I'll find it. The video's on Instagram. Last year, I bought one from a homeless guy, a badass Georgia jacket. I literally busted a Yui and turned all the way around and pulled up to a whole gang, probably 20 homeless people right there in downtown Augusta. No fear. Walk straight up. What's up, guys? I want to buy your jacket. I gave him $200 and then a ride out of there so nobody else would rob him. And I gave that to my brother for his birthday. It was the old Georgia before it became the the politically correct, nice looking dog.
Right. Yes. Yeah. The old Ugga. I got you.
For what?
Hate speech.
Oh.
Yeah. TikTok. I think
No.
I think you said lethal. When you said lethal, and TikTok immediately kicked us off. But let me
Great.
yeah, but it's okay. So you keep talking about these ultra marathons. How did that come about? Because that's shit right there. You just, hey, this is were you always a runner and that's just part of your life, or is that something that you just?
Man, I'll cry about this, dude. So, man, my dad was a marathoner, sub 3 hour guy. Ran Boston 5 times and never stopped at an aid station. This man could run a marathon in a 6.5 minute pace without a drop of water, and loved it, dude. He just took a piece of laminated paper with a list of names on it, and he prayed for him the whole time. That's how my dad ran marathons at a sub 3 hour pace. It's my now it makes a little more sense, right?
Yes.
But he always was on me, all of us kids, who's going to do the distance. And, I was a wrestler when I played football. I wasn't trying to run 26 miles for what, dog? I got a car.
Right.
And, man, what was it? 2013, maybe 12, 13, man. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Couldn't run anymore. Right now, he can barely walk. I had to help him wipe his ass a few days ago. And, when he was diagnosed, man, we started Run for Mike. My sister did, man. Hashtag Run for Mike. Boy, man. And is it okay if I give you a little backstory?
Yeah, absolutely.
So my dad was a medical doctor, man. He was a medical missionary in Papua New Guinea. That's when I was born. And he never gave a shit about the money, man. He was there to help people. And he had this friend named Jack Loomis in Rockford, Illinois, who had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And, he's going out quick. And my dad told me the story about when he visited him. I'll cry. When he visited him, and he said Jack was on the bed, and he was always a big, boisterous guy, and he couldn't move. He was weak. He was dying. He was on his deathbed. And my dad looked at him and said, "Hey, Jack, if you could do anything, what would you do?" And Jack looked out the window, and it was cold and rainy outside. He said, "Mike, I'd get up out of this bed and I'd go run. And that rain, and I'd feel it, and I'd feel every bit of it." And when my dad started losing that, man, we started running for him. We did, man. Me and my sister beat the motherfucking Marines on their own obstacle course, dude. Their own obstacle course. My sister won a 50K in Mississippi in May. I've won 240s and a 50. My dad was there for some of these, man. And he was there and he saw it, man. Catch him on the hills, son. Whenever I'm running, man, and I feel a cold wind on my face, dude. That's what happened, though, man. You asked about what changed. My dad, dude, I was actually running, thinking about my dad, thinking about all this stuff, the cold breeze on my face. That's my dad, dude. Anytime there's a hard wind in my face, it's my dad. And dude, I was running on the road in Hepzibah, Georgia. I ran pretty much a 10K every morning at least. That's just, like you drinking a cup of coffee and taking a piss. That's me running a 10K. Right. All right. And dude, halfway in, I had a massive, had a massive Damascus Road spiritual experience like that. That was in February. 6 months later, I was in a van headed to the West Coast, and my entire life was different. And that's kind of it, man. And I haven't run an ultra marathon since then. I got injured for the first time a few weeks later, training for the Georgia Death Race. I tore a tendon 3 times, and I haven't run one since. Well, I mean, not a race. I ran 29 miles the other week on the Appalachian Trail. Just came off the couch.
Right. You shared that story. I'll share a little bit of mine. I've been an entrepreneur now for 14 years. Officially started my first entity, real business. I'm all in, started an LLC in 2012. It was August 6th, 2012. My dad watched Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus the Eagles on September 4th, September 5th, that night, he fell in his house that he lived in for 30 years and hit his head and never woke up. Went to the hospital. 16 days later, he died. I got woken up on September 5th and was told, your dad's having brain surgery right now. And my son was born October 19th on my birthday, a month later. So I started a business. My dad died, and I had a son in a 3-month span. Really 2 months, but 60 days span, if you want to say it. And I always think back to that moment because I can't really remember life before that. And I share this with you, man, because your dad is not in good health, but enjoy every moment that you have with him right now because here we are 12 and a half years later, man. I can't remember many moments. Like, just being honest with you, man. It sucks. It sucks real bad. And he was my best friend back then. And now I have a son, and he's my best friend. And, you talked about being an entrepreneur and, make your house smaller, live with less. I have all these moments that I remember now with my son. And I remember when I started my business, I was so proud to tell my dad that I was following in his footsteps as an entrepreneur. But what sucks about that is I didn't cherish those memories. I didn't embrace those moments. And every person I talk to that I can that wants to listen to anything that I have to say nowadays, I tell them, man, embrace moments. Embrace moments that you have with people that you love. You never know. Even like this moment right here, man. Maybe someone out here is listening right now and they're going to go tell their dad they love them. And it might be the last time they get to do it. Because I had no idea. I was a little punk ass 20-something-year-old. I didn't think about going and watching that Monday Night Football game with my dad. I didn't call my dad about that game. Why? Because I watched the game and I went to a dive bar to get drunk that night doing some Jaeger shots because I was about to have a kid. So I had to get as many nights in the dive bar as I could. You know what I'm saying? I didn't call my dad. I didn't talk to him about the Cowboys game. Embrace those moments. Embrace those opportunities you have, man. Appreciate you letting me tell that story, man.
Hey, thank you for telling me, man. That's called a connection, bro. Like, I can empathize. That's your hero, man. You've looked up to him since the day you were born. And, you have a kid too. So you've realized, I don't know if it ever hit you or when it did, when you're changing that diaper, bro, my dad did this to me. And look, and look where he is now.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, just like everybody who ever fought Conor McGregor thought they knew what it was like to fight Conor McGregor until they woke up.
Right.
Dude, when it actually hits you, it's like, whoa, man. Whoa. Yeah, man. Like, hey, let me tell you, I don't know if you saw, but it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 now. I don't know chronologically, but 3 games ago, I road trip to a little place called Indianapolis with my 70-year-old mama to meet my brother and sister and watch Georgia beat Bama.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, and my mama, hey, she has the ESPN app installed with notifications. We have a group text. My mom and my 2 brothers, all college football season. Hey, golf, March Madness, pro football, college football, baseball. Mama's on it. She drinks beer. I mean, she's also got a black belt in American kickboxing and graduated from Georgia Southern right in 1970. Think Allman Brothers, Statesboro. She's a gangster. She's a gangster.
Georgia Southern Eagles, right?
And we watch all football games at my parents' house on Sandy Run Court. That's where Sandy Run original comes from.
That's awesome. Hey, let me ask you, see, Augusta, right? I know Augusta is, hey, that's where the Masters are. Is it as big of a deal to the people in Augusta as it is to the rest of us?
Hey, make no mistake, we have a government here in Augusta, but the Augusta National, like, they run this town. You know,
Did you know?
I have, dude. I've been, yeah, you know, I don't give a shit about golf, but I love the tournament, dude.
Yeah.
The sandwiches are still $2.50.
Wow.
the
Awesome.
same ladies have been making them since like the 40s. I mean, and it's, dude, they have have you ever been?
No, it's on my bucket list, dude. I gotta go.
Well, I may or may not have a Jesus themed Airbnb less than a mile from the National.
Jesus themed Airbnb.
Right across from Lake Olmsted.
I love it, bro. Hey, is it as gorgeous in person as it is on TV?
Man, it is a vibe, dog. Let me just tell you, going to the West Coast and seeing these old growth forests taught me about these vibes. And when you go to the National, it's a vibe, dude. It's the only place you'll go in America where everybody is on their best behavior all times.
Yeah.
I mean, silent.
I gotta tell you, if you love it there and you love the West Coast, have you ever done the 18-mile drive around Pebble Beach in California?
No, I have not yet.
Bro, now you need to get in your van and you need to go do the 18-mile drive around Pebble Beach Golf Course. You want to talk about a vibe? You need to look that up, brother. That's a vibe right there. 18
miles. I just jogged that guy. Which, see,
they call it the 18-mile drive because it's 18-mile circle that you stop at Pebble Beach Golf Course, right? But every stop has it's nature, bro. It's got like the think sequoias. It's got like this old cypress that's dead, but it's like growing out of the side of a rock, and it's memorable, bro. You stop and you just look at things, and it's like, this is the only place that you can see something like this. There's a place where you stop, and there's like thousands of seals, and they're just there, bro. There's rocks that are stacked up a certain way, and they don't know why they got. It's crazy. You got to go. It's a vibe, man. You would love it. It's totally your style. So
don't worry. Hey, putting it on the list, dude. And you can tell I'm an adventurous guy. I want to go everywhere and anywhere that's cool. I want to be there, dude. That's my plan.
So do you take requests from fans on crazy shit that you'll do in the future?
All the time. And I'll be honest with you, man. I really think we're working towards launching just a show, probably just on YouTube to start.
Yeah.
But the Joe Show, man, it would be so easy to have 30 minutes of content every single day. I mean, and literally, like, with the premise of, hey, I'm Joe, I find houses with a story all over the U.S. You know, a creepy farmhouse in my hometown in Missouri with all the weird deaths, suicides, and then it caught on fire twice. You know, like, hey, and find the story and then show up with a band of traveling van hippies to pimp this bitch out.
You gotta do it. So here's my request, okay? So we started teaching people real estate. They come into our office, we teach them, and the big beard. I would take them axe throwing. I got my axes back here, right? So they nicknamed me the Viking Wizard. So that's where the Viking stuff came from. All right. So then I embraced it. I was like, all right, you're gonna nickname me a Viking? That's cool. So I fell in love with all things Viking. So here's my request. You love running. You said you'll take adventures by request. Just at some point in time, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Iceland. Okay? Can you go to Iceland?
Fuck yeah, as long as it ain't too cold.
And I want you to run around all of Iceland.
How big is Iceland?
I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's that big. You're like talking about 50-mile races and shit.
I'm like, hey, dude, like, I would love to run around Iceland.
Run from one waterfall to the next on the Joe Show.
Do they have a trail there?
It's called like the Golden Circle Road. So it literally is a road that just goes all the way around the whole country.
Well, fuck yeah, Cletus. Like, dude, hey, man, just call me Joe Gump. Shit.
All right, so I got a question. You said the other day, apparently people call you Joe Dirt, right? You get that a lot?
I don't know why.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. So, how do you handle that? How do you feel about that nickname?
Motherfucker, I'll take as many compliments as you'd like to give me. What the hell do you mean?
I remember that you posted a picture of yourself and you're like, hey, caption this without using the words Joe Dirt.
Look, I just want to meet David Spade. Like, imagine putting me and David Spade in the same room for an hour. I mean, come on, man. That would be high entertainment.
If you've listened this far, send this to David Spade right now. Tag David Spade. Let's make this happen. Joe Felon needs to meet David Spade.
David Spade, I think you and I'd get along. Find a fair amount of things to talk about.
Listen, do you think David Spade's actually a cool guy?
Fuck yeah, man. Look.
You think so?
Yes. Dude, that's the thing. Hey, let me tell you, people who suck cannot play cool people. They can't.
I don't know. Come on.
I'm talking about cool people. All right. The Big Lebowski, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. David Spade, Joe Dirt's got to be cool, man. You can't fuck up my entire childhood, bro.
An accent and a look. Listen, here's my thing. This is even more of a reason why Joe needs to meet David Spade. David, I don't think you're a cool guy.
I'm Mr. Spade. I think you're awesome, and I would love the chance to prove it.
Joe wants to prove it to me. So,
right.
So David, you need to prove it. I don't think you're a cool guy. You know
what? I don't know if I'm asking you on a date, Dave, or what, but like, come on, dog. Like, I mean, what's up? I'll drive my van up, dude. I'll let you hang out.
Did you see his movie? Well, you don't watch TV.
Well, I've seen.
He had a movie on Netflix a couple of years ago. Something Little Missy, or Missy Calls, or something like that. Dude, it's about a girl from his work that died. That he wanted, but he wanted another girl named Missy. That was the hot chick.
Okay.
And the funny girl that was crazy, he kept kind of dissing, and that was the whole premise of the movie. But I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. From the get-go, Missy seemed like she was down for all kinds of fucking fun, bro. And look, David didn't sound cool during that movie. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
fuck Joe Dirt. That was like 20 years ago.
You would have to have a lot of uncoolness to undo the coolness bestowed by this one movie. You see what I'm saying? Like the shitting. Hey, hold on. The shittiness of the other 5 or whatever Star Wars they made has not diminished the gold of the original 3.
Okay. All right. I give you that.
You know,
I'll give you that.
That's fair. They lost me at Jar Jar, dog.
I mean, hey David, if you're really gonna go hang out with Joe, just can you bring Adam Sandler with you and let me hang out with Adam Sandler? That's all I'm saying.
And Jim Carrey, please. I have an autographed picture of Jim Carrey. I sent Jim Carrey a fan letter when I was in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and he sent me back an autographed picture. And I still have it. Yes, he did. And it's him. And I mean, I don't know if he signed it or not, but I've kept it all these years.
Bro, all I'm saying is Jim Carrey and you seem like y'all would get right along.
Well, all righty then.
All right, bro. So, couple last questions before we get out of here. Like, to the people that truly are inspired by your story, man. What do you have to say to them about like taking action and getting started? Just you said it's just go follow somebody.
If you are at this, there's levels to shit. If you're at this stage where you have a concept in your head of I would one day like to be in real estate, the first thing you need to do is go find some people in your area that are making money in real estate. That's what I want you to do. Basically, go find the other successful hunters in your woods and see what they're doing. And what I'm sorry if I'm pissing coaches off that are making a lot of money doing this. I'm just being honest. Don't find a one-fits-all book. Find somebody for your market, dude, that's actually doing it. And you're not, and what I'm saying is, guys, go old school. Go old school. Be an apprentice. Don't find somebody that's going to charge you money to learn from them. What I want you to do is go find somebody who's doing this, and then you can go offer your services to them in exchange for information and training. Like, just say, guys, can I push a broom?
That kid that I was telling you about, the one that said, hey, you got to interview Joe. He's been working with me for 3 years. He started when he was 19 years old.
Justin Helms.
Now get
Shout out to Justin.
I told him the other day, I was like, bro, you will have 20 years experience by the time you're my age in this industry. How much further along is he going to be than I am when he's my age?
Yes. And here's what people think. Hey, if you're going to be a nurse, you got to go to school for what, 2 years at least to come out and make $50,000 a year. So if you would like a career where you can actively make 6 figures without working, passive income, what sort of time commitment are you expecting to put into this?
Right.
And I want you to, if you look at every fucking video I put up, it is called The Reality of Blank. Real life renovation, reality of investing, reality of travel life, van life. I'm just showing you the real deal. I'm not cutting any corners or pulling no punches. And it's refreshing to have somebody tell you that, guys. If you want to get in real estate, plan on 5 years to doing it. Like, just understand, if you want to get great at something, plan on putting the time in. If you do not have this in your schedule, don't do it. And if you're on the climb up, if you're already working, whatever, and you want to get in real estate, before you try investing and making money off of other people's houses, you need to own your own. Yeah. Because that's a money leak, dude. You're throwing away money that you're actively earning. In real estate, I was investing dividends and returns on investment all these years. It's the complete opposite. We want exponential growth, not debilitating leaks. And so after that, man, if you're really trying to go up, man, you need to get your own living situation debt-free or free. I'm not going to say debt-free, but at least if you're paying a mortgage, you're paying into something. And then lastly, man, you need to, the best way to do this is to get a job in one of these industries. I am now a licensed electrician. I got paid $8 an hour to go to school at Rob Zapata's Electric when I was an 8-time convicted felon without a driver's license. Ding, ding, ding. You do that for 2 years, you can go get your electrical license. Right. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You can get paid to learn. And then you can also learn other things and ply your trade on the side, and you'll have it wherever you go, man. Like, your law degree is useful, I guess, but not during a hurricane. And also, man, these are things, I go to different markets all over the place. Guys, I can get a job anywhere in the world, not just America. That's easy, but anywhere in the world the day I show up without a fucking application or an interview. Why? Because I have real world skills, people. I can go fix your house right now, any part of it. And that's in demand no matter what. And so all that to say this, equip yourself with real world useful skills. Get paid to learn these skills if you possibly can, and then learn to get in the employ of somebody where you can burrow into the armpit of real estate. Because if you don't know anybody, it's hard to get an in. Like, how do you find an off-market deal? Everybody sees the market. How do you find a hard money lender? How do you find a sub-2 deal? Like this stuff that's, yeah, dude, it's like, how do you pick up a hot chick at the bar that everybody's trying to get? You can either have a lot of money or be real slick, dog.
There you go. So, you were that answer, very extended answer. I appreciate it. It was thorough, but you were talking about the reality of real estate, the reality of van life. I think that's where you and I probably resonate with our followings and our audience. Is I started making a name for myself by recording my calls with sellers live, unedited. So it was just, hey, this is RJ. See, you've got a house in pre-foreclosure. You looking to sell that? And then, got cussed out, hung up, picked the phone up, called again. And I did it for 8 hours a day. And people were like, this is insane. I can't believe I'm watching this. No one shows this. Everyone edits it. And it only shows the good stuff. No one shows the bad stuff. And I think that's what you're showing too. It's like, hey, here's just reality. Like, you want to do this, here's the good and the bad, not just the good. Because there's bad that comes along with it too. So my last question for you, Joe, is you're a very interesting and unique individual. So I have previously asked guests, where do you want to be in 5 years? And I just had my 6-year anniversary of the podcast, and I got to go back to some of my original guests and actually share what they said about where they want to be in 5 years, 5 years later. So it was a lot of fun. So my question to you is, where do you want to be? I don't even want to put a time on it, but what do you want your future to look like? Like, where do you want to go from here? Because you're already kind of doing what you want. So where do you want to go from here?
If I had my dream, like my dream, you know, I always want to travel. That's the thing. I never want to be set. But if I had a base of operations, it's something that I could do. I would have an Echo Lodge in Costa Rica or Uruguay, like right there on the beach, man, like built out of the jungle, employing indigenous people at high wages and bringing as many wealthy Americans to experience a new way of life as I possibly could. That's what I would love to do, man. Just, you know, cuando yo estaba en prison, me enseñé mi mismo español. And I would love to go somewhere with little government regulation where a motherfucker can just live peacefully without being fooled with, man. And have an Echo Lodge where people can come experience life like I do, because if you live like I do for even a short period, it will change you intrinsically as a person. And
hold on, real quick. I totally forgot something.
What?
Holy shit. RJ,
Joe, I'm fine. You can keep me as long as you need.
Joe, I fucked up the whole interview. We're going to have to start over. No, I'm just playing. You said you have a hedge fund?
Little one, yeah.
A little one. And you also said you hate the government, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about this? Because I've gotten roasted on the internet on my opinions on this. TikTok hates me. Okay. Washington and Oregon senators just introduced a bill to outlaw hedge funds from owning single-family real estate. What are your thoughts about that?
How can you outlaw somebody from buying a house in the land of the free, you dipshit?
Because it ain't the land of the free anymore, brother. That's the problem.
And I'm here to expose that, dude. Hey, bro, have you ever comprended in the land of the free, you have to ask the government's permission and pay the money and let them in your private residence in order to fix your house?
Yeah.
Hold up. Whoa. How did we get here? Let me take you back to a little time known as 1775, when the British enacted the Quartering Act, and people had to let government officials in their house, and they started a goddamn war. That's what I'm saying. Literally, like, whoa. And what they've done is just taken a little more and taken a little more and taken a little more. And nobody's ever stepped back and said, fuck you, man. Get out of my fucking house. And here's what I'm telling you. To quote General Jackson, man, he said, well, the president has made his decision and let him enforce it. If you look at my criminal record, like, man, look, I don't know what your fucking law says. I comprende common sense. And you cannot deprive me of my life, liberty, and the pursuit of my happiness. And I'm going to do what I see fit on my land, regardless of what you say. And if you want to lock me up for it, it won't be the first fucking time I went to jail, homeboy. Come do it. What I'm telling you is during the Salem witch trials, they thought they were right. And during the Spanish Inquisition, they thought they were right. And the American government thought they were right during slavery too, you fucking assholes. And you were wrong then. And you're wrong now. What do you want me to say? And history always has a way of reckoning things out. So you can talk about whatever you want to, man, but that's a bunch of bullshit, dude.
Yeah. Listen, so what happened is that I've got this show that we do called Pardon the Disruption, where we talk about trending topics, and we have a minute to answer. Okay. So I got a question about DeSantis down in Florida.
Okay, give me backstory because I don't, if you could believe it, I don't follow the news at all.
So here, DeSantis down in Florida said that Chinese citizens can no longer purchase Florida real estate. Okay, and the question was, how do we feel about that? And I said it's a slippery slope. I don't want the government telling anyone who can and can't own real estate. If you don't want a Chinese citizen owning your real estate, don't fucking sell it to them. How about that?
Case in point.
Because here's the thing, brother. 250 years ago, we were all immigrants coming over here buying this shit. Okay,
True.
It's not owed to us that it's our right to own it. It's our right to own it if we fucking pay for it. And you go buy it, right? And so I said, I don't want anyone saying who can and can't own real estate. So that was the Republicans. The Democrats' response was, fuck you, hedge funds can't own real estate. Uh-oh, slippery slope starting. Now what's going to happen? Now we're just waiting on the Republicans to respond. This is the bullshit I hate, dude. I want the government to stop talking about real estate. I want them to stop talking about who can and can't own it.
Hey,
it's our right to own it if we want to own it and however we want to do it. If I want to do it inside of a hedge fund, I can do it.
How about this? Why do we happen to listen to you if you can't even balance a fucking budget, dipshit? Like, why? Y'all are the worst businessmen I've ever seen. Y'all couldn't think yourself out of a wet paper sack and you're working with trillions? Y'all fucking suck. Hey, like, that's what I'm saying. If all of America, like all the working class, regular Joes of America could send a message to everybody in Washington, D.C., it's this: you fucking suck on all levels.
All right, but hold on. But Joe, here's the thing. The American people spoke and said, at least on my social media, that they agree with this. They don't want to.
Hold on. But do you know why? Can I say why? Because the government pitches it to them like that.
Thank you.
That's why they give it to you.
What they said, Joe. They think that the reason why houses have gone up in price is because of hedge funds. Whereas you and I both know, we've been doing this for way too long, bro. How much did a 2x4 cost when you started in comparison to how much it costs now?
Say less, bro. Hey, say less.
This is the reason why shit keeps going up.
Hey, dude, you know what this really is? This is like silent darts back and forth. You know what? Hey, so RJ, can I give you another plausible scenario? The Republicans say, well, you know, Chinese citizens can't buy it. And the hedge funds go, hey, that's a good idea because a lot of Chinese corporations and citizens are buying a lot of real estate. And if we take out these top bidders, da-da-da. So, like American farmland.
Right.
Which terrifies the shit out of me, but we shouldn't be that dumb, dog. Like, what do you want me to say? All right.
That's why I keep saying, people are saying, dude, we've got a major problem in Arizona with, I think it's Thailand is buying a shit ton of land in Arizona and not allowing people in Arizona to use the water rights that is coming with the land. And I'm like, wow. Stop fucking selling it to them.
Well, and that's the thing. I see the other side pushing back like, well, fine, we're going to introduce this one. Well, hedge funds can't buy it either. There goes your lobbyists.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, ding. But nobody's thinking about the other side. What if I'm a seller and I have a fantastic deal, but you are literally depriving me of life and liberty by telling me I cannot sell my property to an American citizen just because he lived in a different country prior to getting American citizenship.
Right.
What is it? So what you're saying is what you are doing is literally, in essence, discriminating against people from China. Like, literally, by definition of the law, if you're from China, we're going to treat you differently.
Yes.
I don't know how you can do that, nor why that makes any sense. Like,
or why the land would want to be like stand strong on that. Bro, it's anti everything that I thought this country was built on, but apparently you and I are in we're the rare breed nowadays where we still believe that's a thing.
Right.
Or we want it to be a thing.
I want the government out of my house for every reason. That
Yes.
and here's the thing. Here's the problem is that when I say that, people now, the mindset is, well, what are you doing in there? Bitch, this is my house. I do not have to tell you, nor is it proper for you to even fucking ask. This is the South.
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude, this is my private. You know what happens in here? I fuck my old lady and I shit. What else do you want to know about, dog? Like, shit,
Right.
man. Hey, if you, that's what I'm saying, man. And people, they go with it because they're pitched that way, man. And this is the scary thing to me, RJ, that it's all in. Why do we have building inspections? Woo! Why do we have
there's the theory that goes out where we want to make sure that buildings are built correctly.
Correct.
Where we want to make sure that everything is done up to code, to a standard, so we're eliminating fires, buildings falling down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you've ever gone through that process, you know that is not the case whatsoever.
Well, hey, RJ, I will challenge you this, because I had a theory that new buildings are way, way safer, but also more shittily built than the other ones.
They are. Absolutely.
Like that's the thing. And when I was researching this, hey, and I challenge you or anybody listening, you can email felzinvestment@gmail.com, FELZ investment@gmail.com with any links. I want an incident of residential construction being faulty and it killing somebody in America. I could not find any. I looked for days. Couldn't find a single one. I found commercial, the seaside collapse in Florida. I saw a fire at a wharf in, was it California somewhere? I couldn't find any, not a single one. And like, I found that there were electrical fires. I think the highest thing I saw on the CDC website, 374 deaths in a calendar year in a country of 330 million people. And then of that, 42% were simply caused by people plugging a space heater in to a circuit that wasn't designed to handle it. It's user error. So we're literally talking about like 190 people a year, and you're making us all buy $70 breakers for this? What? Dude, that's what? No, dude, you're just trying to make me buy shit. You're not keeping anybody safe. But what you've done is create a matrix, a book this fucking big on how to build a house that you can now fee and trap me on and charge me for inspections, employ a whole bunch of old washed out contractors who aren't good for anything else. And also now I can come in your house and see how much it's worth to raise your tax value. What? That's all they've done, dude. And I proved this to myself by going to Europe. I spent 3 weeks in a van, clandestinely touring old construction that was built in the 1200s, so far ahead of us without ever a building inspection. And here's the problem, bro, Cephas. Like, these people back then were building shit and they weren't bound by a book. We have literally boxed in an entire industry. There is no innovation anymore. You have to play by these bullshit ass rules. Look at the cost of housing.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculous. It is so stupid. And the older shit is always better, man. From here to there, man.
But Joe, it's hedge funds' fault. Remember?
Yeah. It's hedge funds' fault. Why? Why is it my fault? And why? If I own a house, here's the thing. If I own a house, I do not see how anybody, well, hold on. If I own a house free and clear, no note, I do not see how any other man on planet Earth or government entity can tell me what to do with inside the four walls.
Well, unfortunately, guys, our interview with Joe Felz was cut short due to the snowstorm here in Texas. We had a power outage. So I just wanted to say, hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed the interview. And thank you to Joe Felz for being a guest on the Titanium Vault. Blown away by his mindset, his journey, overcoming the trials and tribulations he had early in life. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And we'll see you guys next time on the Titanium Vault.